Ladies, welcome. Andrea, Amanda. Lisa's just getting our little one ready. We got Lily Grace for here. The three older boys are at school, but Lily Grace stays home still. So she's just getting her busy and then she'll be right on. But I'm excited to talk with you. Amanda, I'm excited to talk to you, the the official wife of the superhero, Coach Johan. Good morning, Katrina. You guys, I have some great questions. So I'm excited to tell you, to talk to you about it. And Lisa's going to share her story real quickly. Hey, Amanda, how's it going?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
How's the kids?
Yeah, they are inside. It's soon bedtime in Sweden, but
Yes.
they're fine.
What time is it in Sweden right now?
6 a.m. So the little ones are preparing for bed.
Oh, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. 6 and
6
8.
p.m. Yes, 6 p.m. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I was going to say yes. Oh, so the little ones usually get to bed around that time, 6, 7,
7.
7 p.m. That's what time we try to get little. It doesn't always work though,
No.
as you know. But we try our best, right?
Yeah, we do.
So you've got 6 kids.
Yes.
And how many
6.
girls, how many boys?
Uh, four girls and 2 boys. I had to count.
4 girls and 2 boys. And I have
Wow.
3 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah. What do you think? I think girls are harder. Everyone says, "Oh, it has to be so quiet in your house that have 4 girls." But I said, no, they are the worst.
Our little Lily Grace is very
Terrifying.
yes.
Yeah, no, she's her own. It's interesting because I my nickname was Lisa for when I was growing up, and I challenged authority. And yesterday I asked her to put her orange peel in the compost, and she just looks me dead in the eye. She's like, "No." And
Yeah.
the rage I feel inside, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And I just felt so much empathy for every like coach, teacher, anybody that I just been like so no to. But it's good.
She's strong-willed
Yeah.
and stubborn.
Yeah.
I'll put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. So I'm Lisa. Anyways, nice to meet you guys. Okay, I see. Hi, Greta. Greta was my workout partner.
There she is.
And so, hi, you guys. She comes into our gym here every morning. She's got 8 kids. And yeah, so it's been watching her journey.
She's got Amanda beat because Amanda has 6.
It's interesting. A lot of people in this community have, like Johans.
That's Johan's wife right there,
Oh,
Amanda.
it's her.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, that's who it is. Okay, so there's you, and then there's who's the other person that has 4 kids?
Oh, I don't know. It's what about Andrea and Katrina? You guys have any kids? If you want to. Yes, there
I,
you
I
are.
have to, I have my camera off because I'm a foster parent and I can't have, and they're always coming up to me, so I can't have my kids on camera. But I have
I know
two,
what you look like.
you know what I look like. I have two grown daughters, 3 granddaughters, and then a foster son and a foster daughter.
Okay, yeah, hell yeah.
Amazing. We salute you.
Yes. Okay,
What
so
about you, Andrea?
I have a 21-year-old. She turned 21 in November, so the freedom awaits.
you have a 21-year-old. I feel like you should be leading this. Look at you.
Oh, I'll be 50 in July.
Oh my goodness, looking good, girl.
Thank you. No, you know what? You're absolutely right that I always wanted to be I said if I'm gonna have a boy, I'm gonna pull my hair out because I thought that boys are like the worst. But my daughter challenges me even now every step of the way. And I'm like, she's the best mini-me that I could ever birth. But I'm like,
Yours are
damn.
good for you for growth. I've named her Lily Grace, thinking she'd be my saving grace after 3 boys, but she is not.
No, for sure. No, I mean, she's great. Don't get me wrong, but she's a very strong person, and so am I.
Yes.
So we're like a lot of times, like, butting heads, but in a good way. It's all good. I don't know if I want to have little ones anymore. I mean, I'm past that stage now,
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing is like, I feel like lots of people over the years, they're like, why can't you be consistent with your workout? Why can't you be consistent with your diet? And I think it's
Yes.
like women and men especially live in such different worlds. Like when a guy tells me that they have the same 24 hours in a day, I literally want to punch them in the face because,
No,
just
not true.
putting on a kid's Like I have to wrestle my 5-year-old like a water buffalo crocodile just to put his clothes on. And so when you tell me that we have the same amount of hours in a day, like it's just not true. And then saying, okay, well, you can get an hour in a day to exercise. Okay, well, what am I going to choose? Am I going to choose a nap, a shower, or a workout, right? And so I think different stages of being a parent and a woman, we have to really honor that and
Yes.
not beat ourselves up about that journey. But I do also see the benefit of putting that mask on yourself and making exercise and health a priority so that things around you are easier to manage.
That's what I meant when I said like the freedom awaits now, because I mean she's been an adult pretty much like the last few years of her life, and so she does a lot of things on her own, and we're like she's just in and out. She's in college now, but I just feel like when you have younger ones, like you're absolutely right. Like you don't have, I've lost myself as a mom a lot. Like there were points in my life where I was just like, who the hell I am, and like, what do I want? Because you just don't like the priorities are very different in our lives. And so now it's like, now I'm just like, I'm living my life the way I want to. It's like, what do I want? You know,
Yeah.
and it's a really nice freedom to have. And it's hard in dating though too, because I don't want men with young kids. I mean, it's not that I love kids, but I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing a 2-year-old
Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. Yeah,
Totally.
no.
You know, because it's challenging. They don't get it that it's like you become the stepmom or you become the, even if you're just dating, right? Like when you have that child, a young child in a person's life, it is the priority and it should be. It's
Hmm.
just, I'm not in that stage anymore. I don't want to be in that stage anymore. I'm
Me
past that.
neither. I want to actually ask you, Amanda, because you have, how old are your kids?
I got 12, 11, 8, 7, 3, and 4 months.
Okay, so you're actually in it. And I want to ask you, like listening to what we've talked about so far, what do you think about, like, how are you prioritizing yourself and how are you making that work with getting your exercise in and keeping your health in check while being in in the trenches?
Well, actually, I struggled with that for like 2 years ago because I always felt guilty with not being with my kids and play and go and not spending time with them. But then I just changed my mindset to think that I'm going to prioritize my health and my workouts because I'm going to live longer for them and I can be an active grandma later on. And hopefully I'm going to stay and be a, I don't know, in English, grandma.
Great grandma?
Yeah, great grandma. Yeah. So that's my motivation. So I don't have that guilt anymore when I go away to do my workout, and I just do them. And sometimes I don't find time to do it alone. I just do it with my kids and or in the living room while they are watching a movie or in the playground or wherever. But since I just changed my mindset that I do it for them and to have more time with them, it's just gone easy to do it.
It's interesting that you say that because I feel like with my personality type, like I have to feel like somebody else is benefiting for
Yeah.
me to actually take action. Like even with working with Greta and Eva, like what started me was like, if I don't show up this morning in the gym, it's gonna affect them not getting a workout in. And so like that kind of accountability was really important to me. But I grew up with a mother who did Jane Fonda workouts in the living room every day. And and she
Mine
set,
too.
yeah, so she set such a clear like boundary for herself. And I used to just like think it was, she's like, her non-negotiable was always to make sure that she got that hour of exercise in a day. And she went for a walk every day and she did aerobics videos in our living room. And I do see the importance of that because when we don't exercise, like everything else kind of falls apart because it's like it's also taking that time for yourself and just knowing that you did something for yourself so you don't feel like resentful or like you become a martyr, a doormat, right? And so by taking your power back in that way, like I actually really respect that my mom did that. And it's taken me a long time to get there, but I feel like through Greta and Eva working out with me and having that accountability partners, It's just changed so many different aspects of my life. So I want to talk to you, Greta, like just take us through your journey, because you started with the Healthy Role Models, which is a program here on Vancouver Island. And it's like an accountability group through Facebook group. And what started you on this path to wellness is having 8 kids?
I'm gonna attempt this. I have 3 kids in my room with me right now. Yeah, I don't know if I can share right now, just because
I
there's
think
so
it's
much going
relatable, and
on.
I'm glad that this is happening. So just go with it, just ignore them, and you guys give Greta a second just to talk to you, okay?
So I started, I think, when was it? It was like, pretty like, I think like midway in the pandemic. So I was feeling very isolated. I've struggled with, to be totally honest, struggled with depression on and off my entire life. So I've really struggled with mental health, and so I just knew at that point, like I was just so actually consumed by fear and so many negative feelings and just fatigue, absolute debilitating exhaustion. Just from, I think, parenting and mothering and doing all of the things. I had been seeing and hearing about healthy role models for a few years already, and I just never ever saw the possibility of me being able to do something like that. It just, in my mind, I just was like, I want that, but I can't do that. I can't, I don't have any time. Like I go to sleep in my clothes. I wake up in the same clothes. Like I make time to brush my teeth, and like everything else is for everybody else. And I just, but I knew, I was like, something has to shift, something has to change, or else like I just won't be able to be here for anybody else anymore.
Well, and you found that out by being hospitalized last year.
I did. So
Burnout is real, guys, and you got to really make sure that you take care of yourself, because that's a really good, seeing your journey from that to where you are now, where, I mean, you saw her pipes, like she's jacked.
yeah. Well, what really made me decide that I could do it was actually not from within myself yet, but I reached out. So initially I was like, I have to find a way. So I reached out to the people that I love and trust and I knew had my back. And that was you, Lisa, my sister, and Sarah, who actually runs the Healthy Role Models program, who started it. And just hearing from all 3 of you, like, you can do this, that it was enough for me. I was like, okay, I don't believe it yet, but they do. So I did it, and I'm so glad. Like, I never want to be back there. And of course it led, I still needed more, and I went through that burnout and was hospitalized, like you said. And just that, unfortunately, sometimes it takes you really, I mean, hitting rock bottom. That was my rock bottom for sure. And I've heard that so many times before, and I thought I'd hit it before that.
Hold my beer. Yeah, no.
But yeah, it's so worth it. And I'm so glad that I'm okay. Simone's showing her, she lost a tooth. She lost a tooth. She lost 2 teeth.
Awesome. I want to ask you how your hormones have changed over the time because I know there are, like with Marcus, he's kind of like, he's in really great shape, and best shape he's ever been in our relationship. So we've been together for 14 years, and he doesn't take any real supplements. It's really just bone broth and like meat and
Meat and eggs.
Look at his face. It's so funny. He's like,
Little bit
yeah,
of
yeah,
little bit of
I don't need
creativity.
anything. But it's true. And so I
What up,
do
Bert?
think
Nice to join us, brother. Tom, good to see you guys. Let's make sure that we acknowledge the men here too, Lisa.
hi guys. How you
It's
doing?
not just ladies, okay? Even though we're optimizing this to
Well,
ladies today.
I think it's really important that men listen to this conversation because you have to deal with the hormones. And so if mom ain't happy, nobody happy, right?
I want to add two things, right? Like strong fathers, strong mothers.
Well, three, you want to add that I'm standing on a stack of paper.
Yeah, she's
so
not
I'm
this she's not this tall, by the way. So she's standing. I'm like, you're gonna make me look short. I'm not. This is what she's. This is.
Yeah.
There you go. She needs her platform. Strong fathers and mothers, right, set examples for their families. And you know, I'll hear about the idea, and Greta, you made me think about this. Like, we all would die for our family, for our kids, but
Mhm.
will we live for them?
Yeah.
Will we live for them? And so for me, when I look at Amanda and Coach Johan and what they're doing is setting examples of, no, you take care of yourself so you can be the best person to take care of others.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take that time and space for yourself, really, like you've got an airplane going down, you got to put the air on first, right? And then take care of your family or you're going to die. And so it doesn't matter if we don't have our health as our kids get older. What if we're not there for them? What if we're not
Mhm.
there for our grandchildren? I've witnessed my own grandfather with 17 to 18 prescription drugs and a quality of life this last
Staring at the window, yeah.
decade of his life that I would not wish on anybody. And they're even saying now Alzheimer's and dementia is type 3 diabetes. Right? So we have in this moment the ability to change the trajectory of our lives and set examples for our kids.
Well, without band-aids, like getting to the root of things, you know, and also like through the healthy role models is what Greta and I did. But you actually are being a healthy role model because Greta, even as I've watched her when she's working out, like her kids, like our daughters are watching us, and then they're wanting. Like, my daughter's like, look at my muscles, you know, and wanting to be strong, and so we are being role models for our kids. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
could see us doing this all day and then copy that, or they can see us, you know, being healthy and taking care of ourselves.
Well, I was gonna say, I showed you the picture of Amanda the other day with all 6 of her children,
Yeah.
and they're actually doing the X3 workout together.
I love
Yeah,
that.
monkey see, monkey does.
Yeah. And so how are your kids, Greta and Amanda? We'll start with you, Greta. How do you see improvement in your quality of life and your kids watching you working out?
Watching you cleaning.
Watching you clean. Oh, it's such a huge shift. My favorite part, I think, is, you know, having my kids at different points. Like I have 2 kids that are out of home, and then one that's like
3.
halfway out of home.
3.
I know it feels like it, right? Yeah, because she's never home. And just
Sure.
actually watching them go from rebelling to then coming back to wanting to take care of themselves. Like you just ran into Noah, Lisa at Costco, and just like seeing him, you know, be very intentional with the food that he's putting in his body.
I looked at his grocery cart and it was, I was actually very impressed having a kid that, like, well, not a kid, but he's in his 20s, right?
He's 20.
20. And to have him like making responsible, healthy
Yeah.
choices. You didn't see any snacks and other crap in there. There's like chicken. What else was there?
Yeah.
Like it was all really healthy food.
He's meal planning.
Yeah, we're
Like,
fist pumping because I'm pushing him in the way of the carnivore.
right? And it's so cool. And just to see like him changing in the last couple of years, like from not taking care of himself to being so intentional, like his skin, his face, like everything is just, he's like glowing, and it's so cool to see that. And then also like my my other daughter, she got a gym
Give me up.
membership, and like just everybody's just being more intentional. Even our oldest son, he's like, yeah, I was, you know, like I've lost like 30 pounds. Like he's again being intentional. It's not about
Nicole.
what weight you are, but like realizing this doesn't feel good anymore and doing something to change it. You know, it just, it's really cool. And then my other son wanting to do workouts with me, you know, and do my healthy role models workouts.
And Greta, don't forget your hubby on the other side. How many pounds has he lost?
That's what I was gonna say. I actually don't know how many pounds he's lost because we
You were
don't have a
vegetarian
don't-
house. Let's get that under like the.
Stop it.
You guys were
Hold on.
mostly vegetarian household, correct?
No, it isn't.
yeah,
know.
so we ate fish and
Fine.
eggs, and yeah, for a long time, like it's been a journey mostly because we have a child with severe allergies, so we had to make a lot of shifts. But yeah, no, now, yeah, we've definitely made a shift, and I'm even considering
Stop. And now you can have.
now we can have more stuff,
Because now I can have more money.
and now you can have more money.
Well, Greta, it was so funny because we did this thing where we were calling each other out on stuff as a joke, and I'm like, Greta says she's a vegetarian, but she puts collagen in her protein shakes.
So I've started with collagen. We started making bone
Slippery
broth,
Slippery slope.
and my brother raises his own cows. So yeah, we're gonna be getting some beef soon, and I'm setting an intention to slowly integrate that into my diet. It's just I have been
You can.
vegetarian since I was about 13, Forrest, since I was about 13 years old. So it's been 30 years. So it's,
Oh, you have to take it slow then.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. Starting with the collagen
Then
Okay.
bacon.
You know, and the bone broth, right?
and the bone broth. I haven't done it yet. It's in the fridge. I'm almost there. I'm
You can
almost
do
there.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
Amanda, I want to talk to you too about working out with your kids around. And also because we are talking about hormones today, and I do feel a lot of a shift because without working out, like I feel like a complete psychopath once a month. I feel like I have PPMD. It's like PMS on steroids. And
Yeah.
I do feel like, you know, just covering my workout and eating healthier, like de-intensifies that a little bit. But what have you found with you know, taking control of your health and what your kids watching and what that's done for you and your hormones?
Well, first of all, I think working out almost every day it makes me a better mom because I don't get angry that easy because I have a lot of more patience. And I think for my hormones, it calms me down because you get all those endorphins rushing through your body while you're working out, and you also letting your body to stress down, and that affects all the other hormones in your body too. And I struggle with PMD myself, and it's getting worse with every kid. But actually, I drink strawberry leaf tea,
Okay.
and that helps a lot.
And when do you take that? Like what part of your cycle do you take that?
I drink it almost every day, and it
Okay.
also helps with for women in menopause.
Okay.
And also, I have to just check the English word for it. It's in Sweden we call it nattljusolja.
I love that we're talking to somebody from Sweden right now.
I have family in
Okay, evening primrose oil
Yeah.
Primrose
is
oil.
also great.
Primrose oil. I took that when I was trying to, I think it was primrose oil when I was trying to like get my baby.
Yeah,
birth.
when you try to get pregnant, you can take them, and you
Pregnant,
can
yeah, that was
also,
it.
yeah, and you can also take it to make delivery more easier. But it actually helps a lot because in primary rose oil you have progesterone.
Yeah, progesterone. Yeah.
Progesterone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
In my position at Primal Medical, the big intervention is testosterone for men, right?
Yeah.
Women, it's a combination of progesterone,
Yeah.
estrogen.
Yeah. And progesterone. Yeah.
So I'm curious, like if any women have experience with that. I know men
I just
have
really good.
interventions with testosterone, right? That's a big thing right now.
Yeah. But if you actually, if you add progesterone, like evening primary rose oil is the best natural source for it.
Yeah.
Actually, it helps to balance the other two because you need progesterone to balance those two, and it's really important to take them a week before your period, on your period, and after. You can take them every day if you want to, but it really helps, and especially with the PMS and PMD and menopause, it's really good stuff.
Okay, so you're saying primrose oil is your go-to before. Greta, you take these notes, make sure Lisa knows because she just left.
Yes, good. And you said it's recorded too, right?
It's recorded.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear everyone's experience on that because I know for her, and I'm not going to speak for her, and I'll let her speak when she gets right back from looking at Lily Grace. Like that week leading up to it, and Greta, you can relate, is because you guys sometimes are matched up on that same cycle, it seems.
Yeah, you've witnessed it.
Yeah, it seems that is the week where, you know, I'm extra sensitive with the words, but it's also the week when she decides that she was 21 days, let's just say, of like this amazing plan that she was on, right? She was 3 weeks in, carnivore, not touching anything, no wine, no carbohydrates, super dialed in. And that week throws it all out the window for that time and indulges on everything.
Yeah, but that have to be okay because I'm a nerd in this. And it's my specialty as a nurse too. But when women are in their periods, we crave things we need. Like everyone jokes about that. If she's on her period and she starts yelling at you, just throw chocolate, right? You heard that joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because we crave magnesia because we're losing iron when we are on our period.
Magnesium?
Yeah.
Magnesium. Yeah. So magnesium is big during that time. Hey.
Yeah, because we're losing iron in our blood while we're on our period. That's why we crave that, and you have to. I have to think. You have to lower your intentions in your training week during a period because when you're on your period, your estrogen is low, and when the estrogen is low, you actually don't build muscle that great. So you can just slow down your workouts, do your workouts because they are going to make you feel lighter, but you don't have to go as hard as you used to during that week because it won't benefit muscle growth at all that week.
Okay. She's coming right back. She's going to do a quick
Thank you for that. Those are awesome tips.
we just talked about this is
I agree, Amanda. And actually, I wanted to mention the intensity during the period. Like when you're on your period, the intensity cannot even possibly be there the same way as it is normally because we're just fatigued. I mean, it's like, and that's why I even keep telling my daughter because the other day, well, she was on her period just a couple of days ago, and she goes, "My leg day sucked today." I said, "Honey, let it suck. Like, it cannot be. You can't, like, you know what I mean? You have to pull yourself back and say, it's okay. Like my body needs this rest, and you cannot be intensity. The intensity is not the same."
I really wanted to talk about that because I've really tried to switch my thinking on that because that time of the month when I just feel like I fail with my diet and exercise, just got a tummy ache. I used to give myself a really hard time, but I remember my mom, she was always in really great shape, and I don't recommend this, but every month when she was PMSing, she would make my sister and I go to the corner store and get her like 12 chocolate bars.
Yeah.
She wouldn't feel bad about it. She would just eat whatever she wanted because she knew that it was just that stage she was in. And I would recommend like getting healthier choices to like
we were just
indulge
talking
in.
about that. When
Dark chocolate is better than
Sorry,
milk chocolate. It's
magnesium is craving your body, so that's why you want the chocolate.
yes.
Yeah.
Just learned about this. And so that's really important to just like understand. I also crave red wine, and I don't drink during the month, but once a month I actually like there's something that is in red wine that like or alcohol, I don't know, that my body's just like, and maybe it's maybe it's psychological because I know that it'll like level out my rage that I feel. I don't know what it is.
No, it's not. You have in red. Are you drinking red wine then?
That's what my body wants. Once a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, and red wine contained antioxidants.
Yeah.
Yeah, you understand me, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah, and your body craves that too because you're losing blood, and the body needs a lot of things to regain all the things the iron you lose while you're on your period. So
What's a better idea than wine to get like to make sure that your body gets what it needs that time of month?
well, your body will crave anyway because I think it's a pattern also we create, but you can eat like blueberries. It's full of antioxidants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and or have some dark chocolate. Just have it. And if you take a glass of wine, it doesn't ruin anything. Maybe it's making you feel better, and that's the most important part of it.
Bottle.
That's what I say. You can take a glass of wine, but maybe not the whole bottle.
Yeah, but if you take a bottle of wine one time in a month, that's
Yeah.
not doing anything harm for you.
Thank you for validating that for me. No, I do think that we have to really understand. I know there's this thing called Fast Like a Girl. I don't know if you've heard of that, but Greta is well aware of it. She's wanting to do that with me, right, Greta? We're gonna do that a little bit.
Yeah, I just found out about it, so I'm brand new to it. Yeah.
I think it's just understanding that we cannot like do the exact same thing as men because our bodies are so different and we have different cycles and we have to honor that different part of our cycles. And there is like women need more rest. Like I feel like we need more sleep, we need more rest. And just going into those, like I feel like we've lost kind of that intuition in our like our own bodies and our minds, like what our bodies need, because we're just listening to, there's just so much advice and so many different books and audio things telling us all these different things. But at the end of the day, like, what is your body telling you? You know, and like getting more into that intuitive, like when even thinking about cravings. Okay, you're craving this. What does that mean? What vitamin or nutrient are you missing in your diet, right?
Well, I'd be curious too, because I don't know if there's any women carnivores on this call, but you are. Okay, Andreas, please let us know. Because with you're hearing all this, for those that are carnivore, how do you address those cravings with animal-based foods
Love you.
to, if you know it's magnesium, if it's losing iron, if it's the estrogen concern, the period, how do you address that during that time if you're carnivore?
It's a mix of a lot of things. So I no longer have my period because I had a major surgery 2.5, 3 years ago now. I had a mass tumor in my uterus, so I had a complete gut out. So those 2 year periods after that was a hell on earth for me. It threw me immediately in not menopause, post-menopause. I felt like an 80-year-old in a 45-year-old body. I mean, it was absolutely gut-wrenching. I never thought, honestly, Marcus, I never thought that I'm going to recover from that ever. So I had to start doing a lot of digging from hormones. And so, I mean, I'm not considering myself an expert, but they have done a shitload of stuff with me the last 3 years. So I've gone through every single treatment that you can possibly imagine, from hormones to peptides. I mean, I'm shooting about 5 of them currently at this time. So I'm big on peptides, I'm big on hormones. No longer have my period, no longer have major cravings because obviously I'm not in a cycle anymore. I actually recently in September, I went on full carnivore. I just basically pulled the plug and I'm like, screw it. I used to be a vegetarian a long time ago, didn't work for me. I used to be paleo. I mean, you name it, I've tried it all. And I just realized I'm like, there was a lot of issues in the last 3 years health-wise, and they were trying to like balance me out. And I'm like, I have to take this in my own hands because the doctors really don't know what the hell they're doing, honestly. I mean, they don't know my body, they don't know what works. So on the carnivore, I have to tell you, I'm absolutely loving it. Like I'm not 100%. I'm about 95%, 90% most of the time. But to Elisa's point, when I crave something, I have it. I'm not gonna be like last night I went out with my girlfriend, I had a huge steak, and then we went to like this amazing Italian place and they have their homemade tiramisu, and I'm like, I'm having it. Screw it. Like I had it and it was amazing. My body felt good, didn't have any major reactions. However, I'll tell you honestly that certain foods, I think I had a cheat day back in like October when I had pizza. Oh, never again. It threw me into major inflammation.
Yeah,
It took me 2 days to get over that inflammation from the pizza. And I felt like shit, like tired. Just my body felt like a balloon inside, even though it didn't look like that. But like I kept looking in the mirror. I'm like, did I gain like 10 pounds? It feels like it, but it was all the inflammation. So
and-
Where do you live?
I live in Phoenix.
Okay, so like, and
Okay.
I wonder about, because I was diagnosed as celiac back in 2010, and I do wonder about, like, is it wheat or is it glyphosate? Like, is it the chemicals they're spraying on our?
Good point, Lisa, because I go back home to Europe every summer, so I don't live here. I live here full time, 9 months out of the year, 3 months I'm back in Europe. So when I'm in Europe,
In Europe, just quickly, where
in Prague. I have a place in Prague. That's where I was born and raised.
Hey,
And then
Prague, here we come.
I love it. I love it there. I mean, I'm biased, of course, but you have a really good point because last summer my daughter noticed it. Like she was 20, and we were traveling everywhere in Europe, and we are typically pretty structured with our diet all the time. So at that point we were like gluten-free, dairy-free. I mean, you name it, all free. Soon enough, like I'll be eating a cardboard, right? Because it was all free. So we went back to Europe and we ate everything. We went like from Italy to Hungary to Czech Republic. We ate all their foods. Absolutely no inflammation whatsoever. No inflammation. And I'll tell you why. Like even my grandmother said that we add way too much crap in our diet in America into our foods and everything, whether it's a restaurant or not, whether you buy, I don't buy packaged of anything. I make a lot of stuff from scratch, but even the flour here is different. I've made
Well, it's a lot of it is what we're spraying out there, right? And
exactly.
the hormone disruptors, like everything that we put in our food is really affecting us. And I do see that because you see in like Paris, you see these like stick figure women that are just gorgeous who are eating big baguettes.
And
like,
they have croissants every morning, croissant and coffee and baguettes. And I'm like, how the hell do you do that? And we never had any inflammation the whole 3 months that we were traveling. We came back to the States and we got in late in the evening. So we're like, let's order pizza from our favorite place. We were craving pizza. And I'm like, let's order pizza. It threw us into like a 3-day state where I felt like, again, nasty inside. Like I feel that I don't know why I'm very attuned in my body. Like I know exactly when something is not right. I listen to it and I listen to my cravings as well. But I could feel like when my inflammation comes on, I'm tired. I feel like a balloon. I feel like I gained 10 pounds overnight, even though it's not there, but I feel like I'm pregnant. And so I know that that's all inflammation.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. And then if I eat carbs too, like bread and stuff, I will sleep for 2 hours. Like I need a nap.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. So I saw on TikTok, I'm gonna laugh because everything I learn is on TikTok. I'm like, well, on TikTok told me that saunas, you should wear a sauna hat. No, so on TikTok, it was talking about when you're doing your Costco shopping or any kind of like grocery shopping, to look at the package. And if you are having cravings for things like gluten, like pasta and things like that, just to look at the label and see if it's made in Italy and things like that. Like just test for yourself, just see if you notice a difference in the way it's been processed and how
You guys know the app called Yuka, Yuka?
I've
Yes,
heard of
yes,
it.
I
Yeah.
have
Okay, I'm scanning everything. I'm like anal about that. If I buy anything packaged that has a scan on it, I scan it and it tells me right away. If it's
Yuka.
85 and under, I do not even pick up that item because it tells you exactly what additives are added, what it tells you exactly. And then what I love about the app, I pay for the app. So
Well, here's whipping cream. So it
yes,
says bad.
3 out of 100, right?
Yeah, because of the carrageenan in that
And
whipping
this
cream.
is whipping cream. Yeah. So that's a really
Exactly. But what's good on that app, especially on the paid version, is that when you scroll down, it gives you recommendations of what to replace it with. And then also it tells you like if you're actually searching for it, because the free app you can't search. So like if I really want to search for something specific, I search and then I can look at everything on it. So I became pretty anal about that, to say the least, that if it's not a good green sign, I don't even pick it up, because I mean I know that I've done it when I did pick up some items and my body right away went into like like I felt horrible. Like I felt nasty inside. So I'm like, okay, that's even from a whipped cream, by the way.
Well,
Yeah,
even going back to wine too, like making sure that if you do go for a glass of wine, that there's no sulfites in it, right? And things like that, right? There's just certain things that will, like, I'm allergic to sulfites. Like I will
Yes.
start sneezing when I have a glass of wine if it has sulfites in it.
Well, you have headaches and you have a little, like sulfites affect a lot of women, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a wine drinker. I actually don't drink much at all anymore. But if I do, then it's usually like a aperitif or an herbal shot. Like I'm European, so like I do the, you know, the European herbal shots. But those are very nasty tasting, kind of like the Jaeger, you know, like the Jägermeister. It's like it's not many of my girlfriends can even shove it down, and I'm like, hey, give me a glass. Like I have no
I
problem
can
with
take
that.
it down.
And it's actually better for you. It's an aperitif, so your stomach it doesn't throw your body into. And I'm not saying alcohol is good in any means. I don't drink much, that's why. It actually creates a lot of inflammation inside our bodies. I don't know about men's, but for women, I know a lot of my girlfriends that do drink, even occasionally, they do feel the inflammation right the day after.
When I saw a guy talking about it yesterday, he said you cannot like lose body fat if you have alcohol in your system, and it stays in there for like 48 hours.
Right.
Right. So that's really important to like really
And it affects the results tremendously. Like when I used to, I shouldn't say used to drink because I never was a drinker, but let's say I had a glass of something weekly, my results suffered. When I removed alcohol completely, I'm actually getting a lot better results. And I mean, I'm like this year, I want to be in the best shape of my life. I'm turning 50 in July, and I'm like, I am going to be in better shape than I was in my 20s. And
Well,
I
you
know I will because I'm,
right now I can see you look amazing. Like
thank you.
yeah. So goals.
Exactly. After all the struggle for the last 3 years, I'm like, no, I'm back on the horse and I'm freaking riding it. I'm like, I know what I want, I know what I need. And you know, you have to adjust your lifestyle according to what works for you. Because I mean, a lot of my girlfriends look at it like what I'm doing, even with X3, with my walks in the morning, with my whole sauna, cold plunge. I mean, I have everything at home, right? They're like, when do you do that? How do you find the time for it? And I'm like, that's my self-care routine, girl. It's scheduled into my calendar like a client appointment, honestly. I mean, if it's not scheduled, it doesn't get done. So you just have to adjust your lifestyle, food, everything to what works for you. And it's very different, ladies. I don't know how I only had one child, but I don't know how you guys, I admire women that have more than two because I don't know if I could handle that. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how you guys do it.
I do think so Greta and I have a really hard time in winters. So I do find Canadian winters really affect me because I get that what's it called, sad, like this seasonal affect kind of, I start going downhill. And what we started doing was red light therapy.
Yeah, I have that too. Yes.
And we go in this big pod that just covers your whole body, and it's like a red light and it vibrates.
Nice.
And that has like
Vibrates?
a world of difference. And so I know with like we're getting a vibration plate here too to do the X3.
The power plate. I love mine. I do that every day before my X3 and after my X3, I do my power plate.
Yeah, and it's good because the lymphatic drainage too, like I'm learning a lot about that and how you can drain your lymph, and like the massages you can do and things like, 'cause we do, women especially, we seem to carry a lot in here and in here, and doing the rebounding and doing the vibration plates, I have noticed a big difference with that.
And I think diet-wise, what you mentioned too, I used to live in Vancouver for 11 years.
Yeah.
And after the first 3 years, it really got to me because of the gloominess, the rain, the constant. I'm a sunny disposition person. I love the sun. So for me, it's like not just the happiness, but like the way it affects your body. I know for a fact that certain diets or certain way of eating in different parts of the world is like where Amanda is, you know, like up in Sweden. I mean, I travel all over Europe when I'm there, and it's not possible to even get certain foods. Like even in my country, like in Eastern Europe, you know, during the winter, my brother doesn't have access to fresh berries. And I mean, and if they do, it's not organic and it's tremendously expensive. So I think that we can't follow each other's diets perfectly, because it's like if I tell my brother, hey, you have to have, like I have shitload of berries at home all the time. My daughter loves it. I sometimes have it. And it's all organic. It's all raised right. I mean, it's made, you know, like they have farms right here in Phoenix, but my brother can't get them. So it's like we have to kind of adjust our lifestyle the way
From the
you know,
environment you're in.
Well, and I would say too, like if you think about the season we're in winter.
right.
And then, so if
I'm
you're actually,
having soup and broth right now.
right, so if you're actually following the seasons, when would that food be available to you and is it local to you? Right? And
Right.
so if you're living somewhere where it's in abundance and you can go pick an avocado, that's a whole different story. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, as a carnivore, like what is two questions, because you said you're taking hormones. I want to know which hormones. You said you're taking peptides.
I do. Yeah, 5 of them right
Very
now.
curious because at Primal Medical, we're all about understanding that. So,
I'd like to know about that too.
walk me through your carnivore, like a day in the life of a carnivore from the moment you wake up and how
Okay.
that it looks like for you. And then also, obviously, I'm interested in the hormones and the peptides that you're actually taking.
Okay. So my tip, I actually included my egg in my coffee, like you suggested, which I'm freaking loving. I was like, at first I heard you saying, I'm like, that's gross, but
Well, and it's how you blend it.
It's
You
so
use
good.
you use an immersion blender. So what I do as the coffee is being poured, I
yes,
crack the egg, scoop of collagen, electrolytes. I've been doing a little bit of pure vanilla extract, and butter. And
yes.
I'm combining all those ingredients, and it's so
And the
delicious.
broth you make too is really good. What do you put in that?
Oh, so I roast the bones first, put it in the slow cooker. We have a Kangen water unit, which is if you ever water. And so I basically just
But what
put
do
it
you
in
put
the
in the broth?
nothing.
No,
Well, I'll
no,
tell you.
no, I'm talking about when you make it like whipped, whatever.
Yeah. So basically, the bone broth. I'm telling you how I prep it first.
Okay.
So the bone broth is at a slow cooker. 12 to 24 hours later, you get it's basically done, and then I put it in the fridge overnight. That tallow rises to the top.
I
Right.
sneak with my body.
You scoop the tallow off, right? And then you're just pouring yourself. I'll reheat it on the stove, but I'll throw in some electrolytes. I found a TikTok video again, the perfect combination of the not Himalayan, we never use that, the Redmond sea salt, potassium and magnesium as an electrolyte that I made myself, put in a jar, put a teaspoon or two in the broth. I'll crack the egg and same type of thing. I'll blend it. And it becomes a super delicious frothy
It's
thing.
really
And for
delicious.
me, I'll have the Superman coffee, maybe 1 or 2 of those a day, couple cups of broth. I'm not eating my first meal until 5 or 6 p.m.
And that's why we want to hear from the women. So Andrea, from start to finish, so you wake up, like tell us, and what supplements do you take during the day, and like how do you incorporate those in your day?
I used to take so many supplements before when I was lifting and dancing professional and everything. It was a chore for me to take everything. And obviously health-wise too, I don't know if it really was all working or not, I can't tell you. But right now it's like I get up typically around 6:30. My first thing is when my feet hit the ground, I literally just get dressed, put my shoes on, I'm going out for a walk for 1 hour. I put in my earbuds, I listen to my podcasts, and I do my morning walk on the canal because we back up to the canal, which is amazing. So I just do a 1 hour, 1.5 hour, depending on the day. I do my morning walk, which is, again, it's all mental for me. It's awesome podcasts, no kind of it's all usually business or neuroplasticity or like you name it. It's all my interests that are kind of cued in every day. And so I listen to that. I come back, I have my morning coffee at that point, which is very much a bulletproof, just like how you drink it, Marcus. And then I do my emails, I do a little bit of work, then I do my X3 workout after that, then I do my sauna after that. It's all cued in into my day, so it's very anal, like I'm very structured. And then after that, after my sauna, like it's typically a work day for me between about like now 11 o'clock to about 6 p.m. it's full work. Like I don't all my calls are starting around 11 all the way to 6. I work for myself. I have for 22 years, so it's all great. But my morning routine, my morning is my time. It's really everything arranged for me. And I know some women, they would say, oh my God, my girlfriend says I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I work for a corporation, but I can. So I'm doing it for me because especially after I got really sick and almost died, I'm like, nope, everything has to change in my life, and it did. So for lunch, before I actually start work, I typically do eggs with some type of a meat or smoked salmon. If here and there I have smoked salmon, usually I don't like any fish in the diet, but it's typically eggs. No bread, none of that with that. It's you know, eggs and bacon, eggs and homemade sausage, eggs and whatever, eggs and leftover steak from last night, whatever.
Same Z. That's what I do when I eat.
That's what I do. And don't get me wrong, I eat quite a bit of eggs. It's like 4 or 5 eggs typically for lunch. So it's not 2 eggs, it's like 4 or 5 eggs. Or 4 eggs and an egg white from one of them, and then some type of a meat. So that's and sometimes I do avocado. I love avocados, and I'm not gonna take them out of my diet. So sometimes I do that, like I put in an avocado on the top of the, or like a guac that I make at home. Just avocado and sea salt, that's it. That's kind of my guac, so I don't put anything else in it. And then I work the rest of the day, so there's no eating in between, no snacking, no, I don't do any, I loved any type of like nuts and seeds. I took them out of my diet completely, and I noticed a lot less inflammation.
That's I'm eating a lot of nuts and seeds because that's I feel like I'm trying to replace carbs with nuts.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've tried a lot of stuff in my life. For me, it doesn't work. I can't speak for other people. It didn't work for me. So that's kind of like my work day. And then about 6 o'clock, I do dinner, and it's typically it's steak based. Like I'm a filet mignon girl, so I make filet mignon like 4 times a week. So it's like that's a go-to for me. But I do a lot of different types of cuts of beef. We do buffalo, we do venison, and that's pretty much about most of the meats that I eat. Chicken here and there. I don't feel like I'm getting a same amount of protein or energy from chicken, to be honest with you. Turkey I had for Christmas and for Thanksgiving, but it's not something I do on a regular basis. It's mostly beef based and then wild meat based. And other than that, it's meat for dinner. For me, like for my daughter, I do a side dish because she's not carnivore. I'm gonna disclose that. Like, no, we don't do everything carnivore here. She eats her own way, but healthy. So we do some type of a side, like she does some salad or she does some homemade mac and cheese, which is like a gluten-free pasta with her own cheese and whatnot. She makes her own stuff, but I'm mostly I'm about 90% carnivore most of the days.
And then when do you take like what is progesterone you take?
I take everything, unfortunately. Yeah, I have to. It's all bioidentical. I did not want to go on synthetic. So I take progesterone cream in the morning. Sorry, estrogen cream in the morning. They just put me on estrogen because my estrogen dipped quite a bit in the last 6 months. So they put me on estrogen cream. And then I take estrogen cream on my arm, which is I can't tell you quite how many milligrams. I just started taking it on the 1st of January. Then on my thigh, on my calf, I take testosterone. The testosterone is in a gel format. That's the only one I can absorb. I've taken troches. I've taken anything internal. My testosterone didn't move an inch up at all. So finally, we found that the gel works. So the gel I take about 3 to 5 milligrams, quite a bit. So my testosterone is just a little over 100, which is freaking amazing for me because it was at 2. So Marcus, at 2, I couldn't even get out of bed. I had no drive. I had no motivation.
Fascinated by that. And by the way, just
that too, maybe
we'll have to talk because there's now a nano gel that you can absorb straight through the blood-brain barrier that you put under your tongue that bypasses all the organs and the intestines and goes right to your bloodstream. So
I would love to have like a one-on-one session with you because or even if you want, I'm happy to share like the whole, because I know for men, you guys might not care about that, but us women, I've gone through so much in the last 5 years that I have tested and tried and been on probably anything that you would ever mention. My doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me before my diagnosis. So we tried from Chinese medicine from herbs, you name it. I have wasted so much money, so much time figuring out the issues to balance myself hormonally. And as women, we know that when our hormones are off the rack, we can't function.
No, and I'd like
we can't function.
I think so. You should go deeper.
I don't want to reinvent the wheel, and I want to learn from people who've been through it. And the question I have now, so you are at a different stage of life now. And so what I want to do is I want to ask you, Amanda, because you're thinking about Katrina, you're a foster parent. Greta, you got 1 million kids. Amanda, you got 1 million kids. I have 1 million kids. So what does a typical day look like for you, Amanda? And how do you, because I see women like Andrea being able to have all that, like you have your things, but you don't have the kids climbing on you and taking you out of your routine every day. So how do you function with all the kids running around?
Well, actually, I don't have a typical day because I think that's impossible with so many small children at home. But usually I eat 2 times per day. That's the main thing as a typical day for me. I eat breakfast and I eat dinner. And sometimes I snack in between, but not often. And then I just I can never plan when to work out. I just have to, now it's the time. Now I go. And I try to adjust my meals and my training with my sleep, because some nights I don't sleep at all, and some nights I sleep like a bear. And everything for me is about adjustments and learn and figure out what my body needs and what my body can take for the day. Sometimes I don't train for like a week, and that's okay, but I prioritize like sauna bath or cold showers and or walks or stretching. And some month I can train every day. So it's hard for me to answer your question because I don't have a typical day.
No, that does answer my question, because I do feel like when we hear people like we talk like when Marcus talks about his day with me, and Andrea, like you're at the stage you're in is my goals. Like I want to get to that point, but I also have to give myself permission that like there's certain stages that we're in and we're just in it. So how do we adjust and not be hard on ourselves in those moments? Because yeah, there are mornings where I'm like, Greta's in here at 6:15 and I make the choice. I'm like, you know what? My body actually needs another hour of sleep. And I'm gonna respect that my body. And Marcus wanted to go for a family walk the other night, and I'm like, I'm not ready at this moment. Like my body just needs some time. And then an hour later, I went for a walk. But just really like listening to your body, because I do think there is so much this it's so important, the recovery. And when you are with lifting weights or doing resistance bands and stuff, like we do need that time to recover, and our bodies are just built differently.
Yeah, and actually I've been training all my life. I've been a dancer since I was little, and I start weight training when I was like 18, all the way through I got start training with X3. And what I learned is before I trained like every day and felt so bad about myself when I missed out a workout. But actually now when I'm listening to my body and don't stick to the plan, I got a plan for myself, but I got like 3 plans, and I can take today that matches my energy, and tomorrow that may match my energy. And I have never been so strong in my life. And before I was just like thin, and now I got real muscles. And I think it's because I don't have that high cortisol level now, because I'm listening to my body, so I'm not stressed all the time. And I think that's the key, and especially for women that gains a lot of fluid through their cycles. So if we are high on cortisol and our body feels stressed, we just never get out the fluid from us. So if we learn how to really listen and know when to push and know when not to push, I think we can benefit a lot from that. And actually it starts, I know Johan always talks about this too, but it starts in your mind and with your thought. And that's my biggest advice to all men and women out there, is that if you don't feel like it today, well, some days are great. If you just feel, oh no, I don't want to work out today, well, those days are great to go out and actually do your workout. But if you feel like, oh fuck, I can't work out today, don't do it. Do something else for your health, like take a long shower, read a good book, or get motivated in any other way.
Some kind
But
of
yeah,
Well, I feel like with me, the biggest thing was I would try to be strict on something. I would try to follow what he was doing. And then I'd be like, Monday, I'm going to start. And
Yeah.
I've completely backed away from that. And even with the scale and with the measurements and the before pictures and all that kind of stuff, like personally for me, that just sets me up for failure. And having like
Yeah.
a thing that I have to do this for this amount of time. I would like to take something like say the 75 hard and be like, okay, I can commit to a weight training and a walk every day. Like that's something I can do. I can up my water intake. I can, eat more like cut sugar out of my diet for now. But I'm not like stuck on that. Like I'll eat some when I am craving sugar, what are the dates?
Dates, yeah.
I'll eat like 3 dates and some nuts and that's just kind of getting me through until I'd like to go full carnivore because I feel like once you go full carnivore and you get through the hard part of carnivore, a lot of the stuff in like even when you eat the what do you eat? The gross part of the animal? What is that?
The liver?
The liver and stuff. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder why I kiss you one actually. When I see him eating all that stuff, I feel like, man, I'm kissing that.
Like, and then the meat sweat.
Well, I mean, I don't, that's why Dr. Ken Berry and all these guys say you got to go through 30 days of it before you can even evaluate yourself. Most likely 90 days.
Or your breath when you're in ketosis, it's like he
Yeah.
comes near me, I'm like, "Huh!" It's just so gross. But I get that you have to get through that,
Well, and that's why I want to go, like, I wrote Andrea's name down because I want to go deeper with her actual hormone therapy and the peptide therapy that she's doing alongside of that right now. And she seems to have found her rhythm, right? So
But that's
it'd
what
be
I wonder
interesting.
too, though, is like I feel like if I didn't have the kids all around me all the time, I would find my rhythm. Like even having my kids in school right now, because I've been homeschooling for 3 years, like I notice how much more I can accomplish now that I have some extra time in my day. And so again, going to stages and like she does have it dialed in, but is that something that I can like
You got to be your
do
own
at this
experiment.
stage of my life?
You'll have to research it for yourself. Like there's gals like the steak and butter gal and all these other gals on influencers that you gotta have to.
Well, even eating butter, like I watch these girls on TikTok eating like sticks of butter and I was so disgusted by it. But then I started doing it and it's actually like I like it now. I know it's gross. Well, I gotta check it out.
Your body craves fat.
It is craving
There
fat.
was a comment I got on one of the original questions. Maybe Amanda, you can answer it. Around cellulite for ladies.
Yeah.
And Lisa made fun of herself yesterday in one of the videos, like this part right here in her arm that she can't seem to get rid of, like that's just sitting there. What do you suggest for people that are trying to solve for those issues?
Well, actually, for women, I think we just have that part where it's almost always around our breast, our arms, our thighs, and our belly, because that's where we store fat at most. And I'm sorry to say, but you can't fix those problems because that's how we build, and we need to get down on a very low percentage of fat to get rid of them. You can work your lymphatic system like on the GeHO plate, vibrator plate. That's good. Or get some deep massage on that part of your body that you want to change, but it will never go away. I would say to Lisa, go to a good store and buy a good bra to hide it. That's the easy way, but you can't take away those parts. Like many women I trained during the years, they hate their skin and fat on their triceps.
This
But
part,
You were just talking about that, but Tammy, I don't know if you can unmute yourself. Tammy just said, Ashley Black, I no longer have cellulite. So if you have any more information on that, go ahead, Tammy.
I have been using Ashley Black's devices for several years. I want to say 2019, and I no longer have cellulite. Now I don't have the fat that I had back in 2019, so that might have a little bit to do with it, but I have really healed my body with Ashley Black products.
Is it the like lymphatic drainage or what is it?
She has created medical devices that you blast your body with. It's kind of along the lines of cupping and things
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
In Sweden, we have it's very popular to do LPG. Do you have that in
So
America?
it's basically self-massage methods. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
it
no,
loosen up the fat into your muscles. But basically, it's just like you can say it like this: if you have a hard knot, this is your leg, or this is something just, and this is the knot, and this is the fat. And if you massage it, it will loosen up. Yeah,
you guys
and
have
then
vibration plates too, because the vibration plates kind of help loosen things up too, right?
yeah, it's gonna help, but cellulites, well, I'm sorry to say, you can't, if you don't lose, if you lose fat, if you get down on a low fat percentage, your cellulites will be better. But yeah, massage and Ashley Black, I think she said it was called. It will help it will get better, but if you gain back your fat, it will come back. It's just like, and some women have more cellulites. That's hormonal, and some women has less cellulites. But you can never go away completely and never come back if you gain weight.
Right. Is it a genetic disposition to have cellulite?
Yeah, it's genetic. Yeah, for most women. Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting really loud here, but I just wanted to chime in. Actually, with Healthy Role Models, Sarah and Tana did a whole episode on their podcast on cellulite, and it really almost like, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Is it Amanda that was just talking? Yeah. So, wow. Thank you, Simone. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate kind of what she was saying. I think the podcast, when they share just the reality of it, is it's part of being a female, and some people have a lot, and some people have a little, and some people have kind of in between, and it's just kind of just getting accepting of it, getting comfortable with the fact that we have these things and it's part of what makes us women. You like she says, you can make improvements and minimize it in some ways, but I think it's important to like find ways. Like some women are larger, some women are smaller. We all are different. We're made different, and that's what makes us unique and beautiful, is that we are different. Like we can get healthy, we can do these workouts, we can do all these different things, but we're all still at the end of the day going to look different from each other. And just like finding a place within yourself to accept your differences and feel comfortable in your own skin and in who you are and what your differences are, it's just so important. It again, like so much of it is your mind and your mindset and how you
Media
feel.
themselves, right? You know, seeing these magazines and all these things to compare.
Everyone's
to.
authentic
Like,
right
do
now.
you remember the 90s when we had those like stick figure, like they looked like they
Oh
had
yeah.
Auschwitz, and that was the look. And it was like, how is that something that is us as teenagers?
Well, it's back. Do you see what happened recently? They're
What?
talking all about it.
Ozempic?
Everyone's on Ozempic. It's just so unhealthy.
You know,
Yeah.
to me, being in the working in fashion and stuff, it never went away.
No, we were.
It was always there. Like you
And
were,
it was a model in New York.
if you look at high fashion and throughout the years, actual high fashion, it was always there. That whole stick figure, that whole look never went away. Like I remember my daughter talking, oh, but mom, it's changed. Yes, like uh, kind of like images that you see on certain brands and stuff like that that are geared towards teens. I feel like we're better, but then again, they're highly sexualized.
And the filters, like if you go into
And the
TikTok,
filters,
Instagram, all those
ridiculous.
face filters, like it's insane, and it's setting us all up for failure if you're comparing yourself to that, because it's like it's just not
It's not real.
all want to look like the Stepford Wives. Like, we don't want to be, like, hi. You know, yeah, I know that I kind of look like the part, but like I don't recommend like, just what makes you feel good. And that's what all I'm going by is, okay, it's nice to look good, but like, how are you feeling inside? And you, Greta, like I've watched you transform because you can feel like your strength is not just on the outside. Like I can see it coming from inside, and it's like I feel like it's giving you your power back, like just by taking care of yourself and working on getting muscle.
Yeah. 5-minute countdown, guys. I just want to give you a heads up. Got to get to a meeting, but I will say, I tell all my clients this. It doesn't matter what other people look at. It's like what you look at in the mirror. So at the end of the day, when you look at yourself naked in the mirror, right? I said, like, do you love what you see? And can you embrace that? And how do you feel? How do you perform? Right? So it's how you look, how you feel, and how you perform. If you love that, you can always be trying to improve or strive for perfection, and you'll never get it. So, but if you can come to that place where you know what, I'm performing well, I'm personally looking as great as I want to look, and I feel amazing. That's the most part. You're in the right place.
And if you don't like the way you look in the mirror when you're naked, like me, don't look in the mirror naked. Like, don't do that to yourself. It's like after giving birth, I recommend don't look down. Like, don't look at what's happened down there, because it's not gonna end well for you, and just being okay with that. Like, we went in the shower the other night, I put a candle on. Like, I am okay with not feeling like looking at myself naked in the mirror. And after having 4 births and going from 135 to 200 pounds, like over and over again, like my body has changed dramatically. And so I just don't focus on that. I don't look in the mirror. I don't weigh myself. I don't do things that are just going to make me feel bad about myself. I just focus on what I can do in the moment and what I can change, and put on outfits like high-waisted
What?
pants that tuck everything in for right now, and that's what makes me feel good.
And this is good because I'm typically talking to men, right? So men are from Mars, women are from Venus. As we know, we do things differently at the end of the day. So Coach Johan, right? Like if he ends up listening in, the way we weigh, measure, like everything's so calculated, regimented, routine, meticulous, because that's just the way we function.
You guys have time for self-care.
Yeah. No, and I will.
Yeah, but I just have to say something before you change subject. I just have to say something really important to you, Lisa. You should start looking at yourself in the mirror. Don't hide it, because it won't go away and it won't be better if you just hide from it. You have to look at it and think of it, why you look like that. And because you gave birth to 4 kids, and you brought life to this earth. That's what your body did. Think of how amazing your body is, that have been Marcus can't do it.
Nope.
Right? No, but you can. And that's a power you have as a woman. So I think you should stop hiding from your body, actually, and start looking at it and accept it, and know that your body did that. And actually, you look amazing for having 4 kids. And it don't matter if I tell you that, but you have to tell yourself that, because if you hide, you will never ever be happy with your result. And that's the truth.
When I completely understand where you're coming from. I've been pretty blessed in my life to not actually, I don't go there in my mind. Like, I've never compared myself to other women. Like, I don't have that in me where I feel like I want to be something other than what I am. But I know that a lot of women do that comparison, and they hate what they see. I just don't look in the mirror, because I just don't see what the point of it is. Like, I do like who I am, but for me, like, it's just, I don't want to even go there. It's like, you see something in your face and you're like, oh, well, you should do this or whatever. And the more you magnify it, sometimes it can become a bigger thing. And for me, I'm not hiding, I don't think. I think the way that lots of women do hide is like Greta and I have been talking about, like Greta and I over our lives have hid our bodies and our stuff when they were actually in great shape, because we were worried about being threatening to other women or having women hate us because of the way that we looked at that time. But now, us as women who are like in our 40s and have had babies and stuff like that, like I I don't know, it's almost like like I'm almost doing the opposite now. Like I'm showing more of my body and being more comfortable in my skin because I don't care about it anymore. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying, Greta?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, no, it's very freeing to just, and I love what you said, Amanda, about yeah, just honoring what our bodies have been able to do and what we've done. Like having as many children as I've had has made me really love and appreciate my body and what it's capable of. And, you know, going from not taking care of myself and like just feeling like in every way, inside, outside, not good, feeling like almost like an 80-year-old woman in a 40-year-old body, and then going and feeling like stronger than I ever have feels amazing. And one of the tips that I can give as well, when you're not feeling comfortable in your own skin, you don't like looking at yourself in the mirror, and that's hard for you, is having who people who honestly can just tell you how amazing you look and like how they can see what you're doing. Like Lisa is constantly showering me with compliments and encouraging me. And that has been a huge game changer, just to have somebody, and it almost gives you permission to then self-reflect and think, yeah, I feel good, and it's showing.
I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before, it's like I feel like in your 40s too, like in your 20s, you have friendships where it's like look, the comparison and the jealousy and all those things, and women being pitted against each other. And I feel like in your 40s, you just start finding those women who are champions for you, who are just like, yeah, you're a badass. Yeah, like you look amazing. Oh my gosh, look at your biceps. And then you don't even have to look in the mirror because you have somebody that is your mirror that is saying like,
Yeah.
you are amazing, you know, and
You start to believe what they're telling you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
make a long story short, get good friends.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron.
accountability, yeah.
Iron sharpens iron. You got to
And
have that,
that's really
that group of
important.
girls around you, just like guys need those guys around them.
Yeah, and just seeing different people's walks and where they are in their lives, like it's so inspiring. Amanda, seeing the picture with you with your kids, so inspiring. Like it made us want to be like, hey, like let's get these kids doing the bands with us. Like let's get them involved. So, you know, we don't realize how much of role models we are to each other until we like share our stories and our, you know, the different stages of our lives and just how we all do life. It actually is really inspiring. So thank you
Thanks.
guys
Yeah,
for
thank you.
sharing.
And Amanda, next week, for everybody that ends up watching this recording, next week we're going to be bringing on Amanda's husband, Coach Johan, to talk
Yeah.
about the X3 superhero book. And he's sold over 1,000 copies already of that book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that you'll learn all about the X3 superhero program. It is amazing. I have the book, I've read it. So I'm excited to have Coach Johan on next week.
Just really quickly before we close, is there anybody that hasn't had any talking time that has any questions before we go? Betsy, Tammy, Katrina, who else is here? Anybody? I just want to make sure that everyone feels heard even though you're not seen. Okay.
It's great content covered.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much. It was really fun coming in here.
Simone does.
Oh,
Simone does.
Simone, you're lucky your tooth came out because I was going to come over there and tie it to a door today.
Alaria and Noah did that before and it didn't work.
For older kids. Okay, well, you guys have a great day. Thank you for joining in. And for the people watching the recording, if you have any questions, just post them in the comments and we'll try to answer them. Or anybody else that sees the questions, they can answer them too. Because I mean, obviously, I don't know a ton about stuff. I'm still in the trenches. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really great.
Thank you.
See you soon.